Hi guys, I'm moving forward with the next shot, and just because I'm having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have by constantly jumping between software applications, I'm doing the next shot back where I belong in Opentoonz. Well, here's the reason why. The problems I was having with Opentoonz had to do with one of these sub-X sheets causing the program to just crash and blow up. But once I skipped over to the next one, all of a sudden the blow-up stopped happening. So that's not to take anything away from Blender or Krita or anybody else, but this next shot that I'm going to do, in my opinion, is just as well handled directly in Opentoonz. So what I just did a moment ago was I took this level, which had this entire drawing in it that was baked from a previous Krita session. In other words, a Toonz raster level was baked down to a plain old raster level. Then what I did was I hit Control-Shift-C, which on my computer does, I guess you have to select the cells. It does this, it clones it. When it clones it, it actually makes a complete hard copy. So then I was able to basically erase Akari out of this shot and erase the bad guys out of this shot. So now everything's kind of in order. And she's going to go, that's it. Did you see what I just did? That expression that I just did is what Akari's going to do. So therefore, we're going to, just because I like round numbers, I'm going to start here and here, save all. Okay, so how are we going to do it? Well, probably the best way to do it, by the way, one could certainly argue that these guys should be behind her. Okay, this I believe would be the dialogue. So the background image we want to have hidden, and the dialogue image is going to not render. But guess what? There is no dialogue in this shot, so we're going to just get rid of it completely. Alright, so now it seems to me that the thing to do is to, let's look at the timing. Okay. Yeah, right there. Okay, I'm going to start it here. So basically, we're going to get rid of that. Again, save early, save often. And the reason we're going to do that is so I can jump here, create a Toonz raster level, and this first level is just going to be for sketching. I'm going to sketch in a couple keyframes here. Okay? So, unfortunately, I can't jump from drawing to drawing for the obvious reasons. I probably should have extended this for, let's extend this for one more frame. That way I can just trace it to at least get the basic mapping of our girl. Like so. Okay, so now we can go ahead and just delete that one cell. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come to a pose that's going to be sort of a proud look on her face as she contemplates the dilemma that she currently has to face, which is to go ahead and submit by dropping her weapon. By the way, my I guess my work ethic must be pretty strong today, because even though I really need to reboot the computer because the tablet seems to have lost pressure sensitivity, I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to keep working. I'm just going to keep on rocking, man. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, the mouth there, I don't know if I really like that. Let's go up here. Okay, that's probably better on the eyes. that the expression? I don't know. I need a little bigger eraser. Okay, I think I'm gonna say her eyes are probably not quite where they need to be. Okay, that's pretty good, other than the fact that her chin seems to be a little bit bombastic. Okay. Not too horrible. Give this slight indication of the nose. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to split the difference. Okay, so chin. Boom. And I'm just going to do this oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Get rid of that. I'm going to do this my way, which is, if there's her nose, and there's her nose there, then the halfway point would be roughly there. Okay. Top of her eye. Okay, so what I want to do here is sort of okay. Now, one thing we do need to do is keep her body pretty consistent between these shots, so let's just go ahead and save ourselves some hassle by grabbing this, Control C, go up to the previous frame, hello, and Control V. Okay, so now we can see some issues. Yep, okay, so now we need to step away from the whole thing of trying to create tweens and remember that I know how to draw and I really should just draw my character. So today is sort of reaffirming that, hey, even though I'm using, actually, you know what, let's grab the top of the hair as well. Even though I'm using Blender 2.8, that doesn't mean I have given up on or abandoned Opentoonz. It just depends on the shot, actually. Some shots it makes sense to go over to Blender. Some shots it makes sense to just quickly knock it out in Krita. If you asked me to sort of quantify how that decision's made, you know what, it'd be tough. It's just, I sort of look at the shot and what I'm going to have to do, and then I sort of just get a feel for where I think I'd probably want to do it. And, you know, clearly the last shot I did in Krita was, you know, it was pretty painful to do. It really was. Okay, so now what I wonder is, I think I want to just go like this. Okay, just so there's some variety there. Okay, so actually this would be gotten rid of. I wonder if I grab this since this is a fresh level. No. Shift. See, I just don't. Opentoonz says that when you drag like that it's gonna duplicate the frames, but I just I don't see it happening, baby. Okay, that works. Okay, good. Save early, save often, right? Okay, so saving my work. Going up here, so we want to have a little bit more of an indication, sort of over her eyes. And one thing that's clearly wrong, that's just a dumb mistake, is I really got her eyes set a little too close together on this particular shot. Okay, so now probably a fair question would be, should there be another tween? No harm, no foul. Let's do a duplicate right there. And let's do this aggressively. Since I'm feeling frisky, I'm just going to take the bull by the horns here. Especially because at this point, because I'm into this Toonz raster level, I can toggle between my frames. So it's going to be a little easier to do the tweening process. Okay, there's the bottom of her chin. Okay. Her eyes are up there, so I really want to put them, I kind of want to put her eyes on this line right here, roughly. Okay, so this ball that represents the way her hair comes over is probably not high enough. I'm sorry, opposite. I'm pulling a Willy Wonka here. Strike that, reverse it. It's probably too high. Okay. Not quite. So what I'm fiddling with here is again, darn, I always make her eyes set too close together. This is kind of wrong. That should be like that, and then we've got her piggy tail thingy dingies, which now are not going to be in the alternate shots, so I need to go Control C, Control V. Just so. Okay. Right here. Get rid of that. Okay. B key. Oh, come on, really? Boom, boom. I must have accidentally hit the paint brush instead of the regular brush. Okay, same problem as usual. It's just because my natural inclination is not to set eyes that wide, and her eyes are actually set on the wide side, you know, for compared to the average person, I suppose you'd say. So, and then she's got this warbling with her mouth going on. So the only thing I think I'm objecting to here is I think that these actually should be even lower, like, yes. And then let's do this as well. Let's grab this and try to smooth that out. And this is where Opentoonz really is pretty nice for you know, the selection tool to make those rubbery changes in your character is pretty sweet. And I'm going to actually hit the eraser, and kind of underscores the fact that in many cases it's better to just redraw it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's hit the L key. And I think it looks incredible, actually. I think it's fantastic. So this is going to need to be inked. And that wasn't bad. We actually did all the animation in roughly 15 minutes. Can we do ink and paint in another 15 minutes? I'm hitting the wrong hotkeys here because it's Opentoonz and I've been spending too much time in other programs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we've got the smoothing. Let's just rock and roll. Okay, go up here. I'm just drawing these lines all the way down like I'm drawing them so that we will have clean fills. Okay, so of all the shots here, clearly this is the worst one, and what we're going to have is that situation. So I'm just going to go ahead and, well, the only thing that repeats is her body, so I'm going to go duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Okay, so that gets us started. Now all we have to worry about is her head, right? Okay, so with that, let's do so. Now I want to just double check this against here. Okay, this is pretty firm. I think what we want to do is probably take this, make the alpha on our sketch quite light so we can really see what we're doing with our ink. Okay, that sucked. I think I want the smoothing even higher. Yes. Sort of gotten used to having more aggressive smoothing. And I like it. It's horrible for sketching. Can't sketch worth beans with that much smoothing going on, but for inking, quite nice. And I'm actually going to flip the canvas. I'm just going to cheat. Again, I'm trying to really be pragmatic about how I do this stuff. Okay. Okay, we're going to obviously have to seal that gap right there with the hair color. Alright. I think that the hair, I don't know what you'd call the thing, but obviously because of the tablet, we actually don't have pressure sensitivity right now, so in a way for inking that kind of makes it easier, truth be known. Okay, let's go to the next drawing. Let's get that all the way up to there. Okay. Now the idea here is that her eyes are actually slightly open. Again, we're going to have to seal that later. I'm giving myself a little more work to do there, but it's consistent with the look we want for Akari, so that's okay. Alright, now we do have a problem. Just discovered the problem that has come up 800 trillion times in the process of doing this anime is her doggone pigtails. I always forget her freaking pigtails. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am actually going to use the arc tool with my mouse. That doesn't look too bad. Okay. This is where, golly, I wish we had a poly arc tool. It's so obnoxious. Okay, back to the arc tool, which I don't even have a hotkey set up anymore for the geometry tool, just because I use it so rarely. Just hardly ever. So now let's see if I can fake this one. Not bad. Boom. Obviously, a little bit of erasure required. And a little bit of touch-up required. Okay. In this case, I guess what we want to do probably is something like that, and also something like that, because really her hair is sort of falling behind both spots. Okay. Okay, so the dimension is roughly like that. Roughly like that. Can we slam this down like that? Let's find out. Kinda, sorta. Got a little cleaning up to do, but I think we're okay. Definitely wanna... So one of the keys to avoiding the inking blues, and the inking blues come about when you have a bunch of leaks when you go to do your painting. So I guess it should be called the painting blues. Is to be aware of the things you're drawing like this that are likely to introduce leaks, And catch them as early as possible, like right there. I mean, I know there's going to be some leaks here, so let's just find them. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now, let's look here. I'm going to say that, okay, that's fine. Let's go here. Similar situation. So just because I want to remember it right now, I'm going to put the indicators in there for the her. Now, okay, that didn't work. Nothing less than legendary. Pigtails. Is that what you call them? I don't even know if they're called pigtails, frankly. But they're so important that I'm literally going to draw them first. We'll draw everything else around the pigtails. Pigtails rule the roost when it comes to Akari's look. Boom. Boom. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, now let's seal up her neck, which obviously is a little on the long side here. But that's okay. Boom, boom. Alright, that. Okay. Something feels stupid here. Okay. I like it. Okay, and by the way, we're going to actually get rid of that frame because we're going to duplicate almost this entire drawing. So she's got to deal with the dilemma of whether to surrender and drop her weapon. Okay, so I see one little problem that probably should be fixed on this side. That's better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is hit D for duplicate, and then all we're going to do is give her a little different mouth. Okay, now I don't actually like the first mouth that much, so I'm going to redraw it. Yeah, that's cool. That gives us this sense of almost, you know, getting ready to blubber a little bit. Control C. So now we're going to go V, 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 V. Get rid of those. And how are we doing on time? Yeah, that took another 15 minutes, so one could argue that's slightly problematic in terms of our time management. Because I really want to knock out a shot faster than that. Alright, but anyway. L key. Okay. So the tear effect really should be a secondary animation thing if we're going to do it at all. So I'm going to actually go to this brush, which is sort of my go-to brush for general painting, and we just had Opentoonz spontaneously explode, and I have no idea how much work I just lost, but it's probably one hell of a lot. So there's Opentoonz for you if anyone wonders why I am a little bit less enamored of Opentoonz than I used to be. This might be a reason. And look at this. Now this, all my inking is gone. All my inking is gone. Okay, guys. It's kind of time for a temper tantrum. But if anyone has any doubt or wonders in the least why I am really getting sick and tired of Opentoonz, this is why. I just, 15 minutes of work is not a lot to lose. But when your goal is to crank out 8 or 10 shots a day, you cannot be pumping along, and then you just never know when your software is just going to... It's just going to die. Just die. Gone. Gone forever. All your work gone. Do it all over. So what's the big deal? You have to do it twice. Not that big a deal. It's always better the second time. That is true. But it's really freaking frustrating. Not only did I lose all my inking, but I lost my second in between. So with that, I'm not going to bore you good people. What I am going to do is erase this, because obviously this in between has to be completely redone, and all the ink's got to be redone. And I made the critical error, so this is my advice to you. I hate to say this because it sounds so amazingly cynical, but this is the advice. Don't enjoy your work too much. Don't enjoy yourself, because if you do, you'll get in the zone. And if you get in the zone, you'll forget to save your work, and you will have this. What just happened to me will happen to you, and you'll lose sometimes maybe hours of work. And it is really frustrating. So again, if there's any doubt in your mind why Opentoonz is becoming increasingly day by day not the happy place that it has been, this is why. Because this behavior is kind of normal, and I should have known better. Why in the heck I did not save my work is utterly insane. But to be optimistic, I only lost about 15 minutes of work. So now what I'm going to try to do is I'm literally going to try to recreate that 15 minutes as fast as I can. Bottom of her chin. Let's see if I can speed paint this. Can I do it? And maybe this is the takeaway. Maybe the takeaway here is that if I can do this like really fast, then the question becomes, well, why don't you do it that way all the time? And I think that's a fair question. Okay. Sometimes you gotta cook back into it with the eraser, right? Save. Okay, there's the pigtails. And I believe what I had. Okay, so now what we want to do is take this. Actually, let's take this whole little piece, bring it down. Okay. Okay, and now Control Z. Okay. Sometimes hitting undo after accidentally creating a keyframe. If you can believe this, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You just never know. Unbelievably true, but it is true. This was wrong. Okay. I'm just going to color these dark. Okay. That's not correct. Boom. Okay. So, not horrible. I think I've sort of recovered my pencils. Okay, and arguably maybe, I mean, when in doubt with a car, you make the eyes slightly wider, so. Okay. Alright, so that literally took 4 minutes to recover from. Can we continue on this amazingly high-paced track? Well, I think we can. Again, we want to crank this up to 20 and crank the softness kind of low-ish. And by gum and by golly, save our friggin' work. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this. Duplicate, duplicate. I'm not going to duplicate it the third time because we want to go ahead and ink this frame before we duplicate it. So let's go ahead and knock out our spot right there for our pigtails, and I know I'm working in reverse, but I don't really care. Okay. So yeah, this is actually a very good lesson for me because I am asking myself, geez, you know, if you can recover this quickly, why not work this fast all the time? And you know what? I think I should. Actually, it's more fun and it's more productive, and I'll bet you it would not surprise me in the least if it turns out that the results are actually a little better too. But we shall see. Boom. Boom. Okay. Save early, save often, right? Okay. There's the hairband. And for this shot, the Ponytail kind of does this number. Boom, boom. Got to get the chin. Nope. Okay, this is, I have to crank my hand around in kind of a strange way to get this. This is where the arc tool would be kind of useful, I guess. Alright, let's look for holes right now so that we're not tearing our hair out when it comes time to paint. Okay. That's fine. Again, we're gonna seal those up with the hair color. Right there's a flaw, a hole, if you will. Okay, so now I guess one could argue that actually her neck should go like that. Is that true? Yeah, I mean, sort of. Let's undo that and make it a little bit thicker. Okay, that's fine. And we really do need a boop right there. Okay, so now what we can do is duplicate this shot. Actually, let's make sure everything is there. Everything is not there. What's missing? This. The ponytail situation. Or yeah, I guess that's what you'd call it. And by the way, look at all these leaks. We're going to catch them right now. Okay, that looks pretty good. So with that, we duplicate. And then all we're going to do is just make a little tweak. Okay, same situation as before. I actually, once I have it in there, I like the other one better. Okay, that doesn't work at all. That's better. Okay, perfect. Okay, except this isn't perfect. Okay, back here. Turn our sketch back on. Save our work. B key. Wrong layer there, folks. Baby. Zoom in. So my son borrowed the car, and I think he borrowed the car and hasn't come back yet. I'm not sure how long he's going to be gone. He didn't really say. I guess that's something we need to talk about, since he's new to the whole concept of borrowing the cars. You probably want to give some indication of when you expect to be home, so that if there's a problem, we have reasons to suspect there could be a problem. Which, of course, we hope there never would be. But, stuff happens. Right? Boom, baby. Boom, baby. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is going to be here, which means this is arguably erroneous, but I would say that since we're going up above the screen, it doesn't much matter. What does matter probably is Yeah, we probably want to have some indication of the ponytail, even though actually what we should do is just go like that for this shot. All right, last shot. And how are we doing? So 45 minutes. So I've actually recovered from this blow up in only 10 minutes, which is amazing actually. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to try to pick up the pace across the board. Actually, I put that in the wrong spot, didn't I? Okay. Again, everything's all about the pigtails. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There. There. Okay, so now let's get that doggone chin correct. Boom, baby. And boom, baby. Okay, I'm gonna double check that here in just a second. That didn't work. Okay, up here, up there. I should say down there. Up here, down there. Okay. Okay. And that goes above the screen, so we can just be a little loosey-goosey with it. And we want to get all this in here. I don't think I guess, yeah, actually, I guess this probably should be there for our drawing purposes. And there's that. Okay, not totally amazed about her chin for that shot. Yeah, I'm gonna just fix that up a bit. Okay, let's do this with the arc tool. Arc, saving my work by the way. I'm going to make the thickness 3 instead of 4, though it just seems like earlier it was just slightly thick. Okay, that worked about as well as sticking your face in a beehive. Yeah. Right. Okay. So she's actually got the pointier chin there. So again, this didn't work at all. This is going to be tough. You would not think this would be, you know, okay, that's the part that's hard, is the freaking chin. Really? Yeah. Yes, with Akari, that is what's hard. Her chin is the bane of my life. So there's the point of the chin. Okay. I think that's what we're going to go with. Yeah, because it's all in motion. We're kind of okay. Okay, classic problem. Always, hold on. I have to select just the eye. Classic problem. Akari's eyes are always set too far apart. Or I mean, too close together. They need to be further apart. And I would say in this particular case, they need to come down like that as well. Okay, that leak is okay because it's all the same color. So, okay, so what do we do? 15 minutes. 15 minutes to recover, baby. I literally have no idea what I just did. Okay, so now I'm thinking that looks completely stupid, so let's get rid of that. And since I'm just totally enamored of the arc tool, I'm going to go ahead and go like this. And, looks like that's okay. Boom, boom. Okay, so now we gotta take this, Control C, and by the way, Control S. V. Get rid of these two guys. Control S. Saving my work. Saving early, saving often. Okay, ink and paint time. Right? Ink and paint. So let's just do it this way. Let's go Control C, V. Alright? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this down to here. Why? So that I can sample colors. So we're going to go R. I'm going to sample the shadow color too. That's it. Okay, so now we can get rid of those. Boom. And now it's time to painty poo. Fill. Okay, sorry. My bad. That's just silly. I need to grab the V tool, and before I do anything else, I need to use the paintbrush tool to seal these obviously problematic leak areas, which are going to be a big problem. See, now if I fill it, it's just fine. So just in the interest of not being stupid, let's go ahead and do all of this in one fell swoop. Then we'll pull out where we can see better and deal with the rest of the fill operations. We want the V key, not the B key here. If you're doing hand painting, generally you want to use the paintbrush tool. Oh, my bad. That's my bad. That's my fault. It's obvious there's a leak right there. Obvious there's an issue there. And there happens to be an issue there. Yep. And now we're almost done, actually. Okay, so now this is actually going to be kind of important. What we probably want to do here is take care of this entire drawing and then duplicate everything over again. Z. Okay. So that's what you just saw is kind of a funky thing whereby even though I crossed that line with the paintbrush tool, the fill tool, when you switch to a different color, will not respect that line. So I have to actually manually go through and fill it again. Okay, which is absolutely dumber than a box of rocks, in my opinion, but what it means for me in practice is I actually have to do this business twice. Now, which underscores the fact that I tell you folks, I'm pretty impressed with the fill tool in the Blender 2.8 grease pencil at this point. Okay, that's cool. We've got to get an eye color in there. So let's just paint that in like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just duplicate the strokes here shortly. And then we will add a separate shadow layer. We might as well. It's just silly to try to avoid that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to the S key, control, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drag this over here. There we go. Now I can take the S key, select all, control C, S key, strike that. I don't want to select all. If I select all, I'm going to inadvertently cover up the piece that I just moved. So control C, control V. And now what I can do is go in here with the eraser, erase that, and refill it, and then grab this and move it over like that. Now the question becomes, did I get it positioned correctly? I did not. That's unfortunate, but it means there's going to be a little hand painting involved here. That's not a big shock. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, so now all we got to do is get these other two frames colored, and we can move on to the what I'm trying to say is move on to the shadows. Boy, that was hard to say. Diggity dog. Okay, so again, same issue here. So, and again, I'm gonna say that when I did a video earlier today where I was doing a lot of work in Blender 2.8, I sort of pointed out I was talking about the problem of these leaks and corners, you know, the vagaries of the fill tool, and the fill tool, the fill tool in Blender 2.8 seems to be quite solid. You know, the leak detector seems to be pretty good. Alright, and now let's fill that. This is gonna break unless I patch it up meticulously, like right there. Okay, so this was what I was talking about because of the imagery that I brought into, it's actually the Krita video. But you see all this crap? I mean, yes, you could meticulously erase like this and then repaint it. But, I mean, the point is that you never create artwork doing ink and paint in Opentoonz where you don't have a lot of that kind of just ugliness. It is what it is. I've never seen it fail. I doubt I ever will. So you just sort of get used to it. Boom, 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 boom. Control Z. Okay. Oh, I guess we need to fill that in too. Alright, so now it looks positively anemic without shadows. But that's okay. While I'm here, we're going to need shadows and highlights. But I have to say the overall look of the shot looks pretty good. Okay, while I'm thinking about it, I want to go into this shot with my eraser and clean up some of this this ugliness that I see. Now, frankly, this would be faster to do in Krita because I can use the Magic Wand tool. It seems to do a pretty good job of catching all this stuff and at the same time sort of eliminating this alpha edge blending pre-multiply noise glow ugliness that you seem to get when you render a ping image sequence out of Opentoonz. I assume it's got something to do with the way the original Toonz raster level manages lines versus areas, which is exactly the problem we just were struggling with right here. All this ugliness, that's what that is. Again, it's not the end of the world. Generally, in the context of an animation, especially if things are moving, you can't really see it. But, you know, there is a point where you go, okay, but this is kind of stupid. I mean, why does it... I don't think that's desirable behavior, you know? Okay, so I'm going to hit the R key so that I can do a little touch-up work here. Same thing here. R key. Quite a lot of touch-up, actually, isn't it? Quite a lot of touch-up required. Yeah, I've never done ink and paint with Opentoonz where I didn't have just reams of this sort of stuff that you have to go back in and fix. Am I being cynical because I'm currently sort of enamored with Blender 2.8? Maybe, but I don't actually think so. I'm just coming out and saying things that have been sort of languishing on the back burner for a long time. That's pretty ugly right there too, isn't it? Well, we can fix that. We can put the fixie poo on you, buddy. Okay. Do 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 do. I think we're probably in good shape. See a little bit of hokiness right there. Let's turn the background on and see. So there you see what I'm talking about. That sort of glow around these guys. Just the fact that that's there is kind of ridiculous. Really. And I don't, well, let's see. Yeah, I don't want to completely erase it because I wonder if I can, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to take my eraser and do something I don't think I've ever done before. I'm going to set my eraser at 20% opacity. Alright. Okay, that works. I like it. Very good. I can basically just dial this down. I like it. Thank you, Opentoonz. You actually came to my rescue on this one. Just by turning the opacity of my eraser down. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back up so I can hit it a little more accurately on the first try. Okay, and that's too much. So I'm going to say around 25, 26. That looks pretty good. Just helps these guys to blend into their background a little bit. Well, that was too much. Sehr gut. I can see just a little bit right there. Okay, so I'm going to turn the eraser back up so I don't forget. Now, one thing we did, I think we were actually starting to do, and I think this is what blew up Opentoonz, would be these tiers. So save everything. I will bet you if I start painting here that Opentoonz is going to die. There's something about the raster levels that Opentoonz really doesn't cope very well with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find this drawing in the strip and see what happened. Look at that. So fortunately I predicted it, and there is a workaround. What I could do here is go not to the C drive but to the L drive, anime. Let's go to renders, and we're going to go into the battle baked, and what we're going to do is we're going to find that picture of Akari and we're going to paint it in Krita. Getting close, getting close. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, but there she already dropped her sword, so this is the picture right here. This is the one. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And I believe if I hit the E key, it'll automatically be opened in Krita. So if you're wondering why Blender is open right here, the answer is for no particular reason. So let's go here and let's do a few fixes. Okay, I mentioned the magic wand tool for cleaning up this garbage. And again, it does do a pretty good job. But it looks like I'm going to have to zoom in to really catch it, like right there. Okay. So, fortunately, this will only take a second to do. But see, it's taking out the alpha channel pre-multiply bizarre weirdness at the same time that it's getting rid of the erroneous shadows. So I like it muy mucho. Okay, that all looks good. What time is it? 11:40. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go to a brush. Let's just take our basic bold brush and let's go in and wonder what's going on here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this just to be safe. Oh, I see what's going on. We need to have nothing selected, so my bad, my bad. Okay, so let's just scroll down, and now these are all the Opentoonz residual noisy uglinesses, but you know, there are worse things. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this completely. Because if we want to add a secondary animated effect of, like, you know, teardrops or something, that's fine. Let me add another layer. And we do not have pressure sensitivity right now, if you can believe that. So in order to do what I want to do right now, I'm going to have to do it this way. Just going to have to paint it in by hand. And then make this really, really light. Not sure. Maybe if this was up higher and a little wider and a little rotated. Actually, I wonder if, what would it look like? Nah, you don't want to animate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a slight little bit. Okay. Now, the thing that's glaringly absent here, obviously, is her eyebrows. And the way I've been doing the eyebrows is to just sketch them like so. Leave them scratchy. So let's go here, and now let's just ease those in until they're about the right tonality. I do not like this one, so I'm going to erase that. If you have a not so steady hand, remember you can always draw stuff and then go in, take your eraser and chisel back into it to sharpen up the edges and whatnot. Okay. Save that. Okay. Now, if I am not mistaken, we should be able to open up Opentoonz, and almost like magic, discover that the changes we just made propagated just fine. And indeed they did. Yeah, so all we got to deal with now is our shadow and highlights layer. Okay, so with that, we've got this turned off. We also need to have that turned off at render. And we need to go B. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a raster brush, like that. We're going to make the color black, but we're going to make the color rather light. And then 1, 2, 3. So probably what we want to do is we need to look at what we have here. Okay. And what's going on? We don't have pressure. I forgot about pressure. Let's turn on pressure here and see if anything happens. Kinda, sorta. So we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna it appears that I do have pressure back on, so I must have what's strange is I lost pressure in Krita and other programs too, so I'm not quite sure what happened there, but that's okay. At least it seems to be back. And I'm happy for that. Because I really wouldn't be able to do this hair properly without pressure, unfortunately. Okay, so this we want to just color in like that. Okay, and by the way, let's go fix this right now. This color is wrong. This should be less of a black and more of a sort of charcoal. That's why, yeah, in fact, even lighter. We want to make sure we keep our outline tonality consistent. So now back to our shadows, and what we need to do now is go Control C, Control V, and let's add white. Jumped back to the default on me, didn't it? And it's going to keep doing that, unfortunately. It's one of the things I despise about Opentoonz. Okay. Boom. Boom. Okay, so it looks to me like the highlight should be a little stronger. If we're going to match. Match. Yes, that looks pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate. And then we're going to just erase the icky parts and redo them. So this has turned into a bit longer session than I expected, but you know, sometimes those setbacks, like losing my work, they do force you to kind of figure out what you're doing. One thing I taught my son is that whenever you get really clear on what you want in life or what you're trying to accomplish, it does seem like the universe has a way of testing your resolve, if you will. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to hit the B key. I'm going to put I am going to go ahead and add a shadow layer here on top of my original drawing, just because actually there really should be like a shadow there. So we don't want to do too much because we're sort of darkening the shadows that are already there, so got to be a little cautious. Don't get too aggressive. Okay. That's actually what would happen, since the light is actually coming in from more or less straight down on her. Okay, the only thing I'm sort of objecting to here is, seems like we need a little bit of a dramatic downward shadowage. Okay. And let's do a duplicate. Erase. And then this will be the last one, since the only thing that changed in the final frame was her mouth. So groovy. So this ability to cut in shadows the way I'm doing is one of the good things about Opentoonz. Very nice. Alright, and I guess we'll erase that there. Okay, highlights. I like that last one. Boom, boom. Okay. This will stretch all the way down yonder. And let's check it out, folks. Let's check it out. Looks awesome. If I say so myself. Looks very good. I like it. I like it. I'm satisfied. Okay, so save that, and then we need a Up here in Blender, we can see that this metastrip 74. So actually, this shot would be number 75. So what we want to do is we want to go File. Again, I've probably done it 10 times in the last 1 minute, but just to be safe, Opentoonz just died. Opentoonz just blew up. I did that wrong. I wasn't supposed to hit render. That's my mistake. What I should have done is hit Control R and done a preview and then saved from there. From there. Save from there. So my bad, folks. That was my bad, my mistake. Well, now we're going to try to make up for that mistake right now. And we're going to do it by using our best Bill Clinton voice. There. Now it'll work. Alright, and so we want to go to My Computer. It might take a moment for Opentoonz to decide to be cooperative. And if Opentoonz is cooperative, that'll be good news, everyone. I've discovered a way to render. Sweet stain of northern Spain. Alright, so we want 0075.mp4. Boom. So it's saving the previewed frames. Well, I hope it all works. I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't. That would be quite a disappointment indeed. So you might wonder why I'm sitting here making funny voices. Golly, that's a great question. No particular reason, actually. So let's go here, and we want to go to the render folder, and we should discover that our 00.75 MP4 is sitting there waiting for us, and let's just drag it into Blender. As you notice, we are now editing in Blender 2.8. Okay, and we are going to use a modifier of curves. Just darken this baby just a little bit. I love it. I love the visual storytelling here. I love the way that flows. Okay. Every once in a while you get it right. So let's back up here. But I thought you said the weapon miss. I love it. I absolutely love it. So we've paid the price of this is where going back and saying, you know what, just trust myself to do the animation that I know I would want to see is always the right choice, because man, that looks really good. The thing about anime is that you want to remember is that it's not like Disney animation. We're not animating on ones, but even if you animate on twos, that's like Warner Brothers animation, okay? It's not like that either. But what you find is when stuff is animated, if it's a camera move or something, it is on ones a lot of times. And if the characters are moving, they are on twos. It is full animation. But the point is, you only do it if you really have to. You only do it as little as possible. So in this case, here we've got a static shot that just sits there, and then all we did was the minimum number of keyframes we needed to get her from here to there. But if we're going to have them, let's make them smooth. So the problem I've had earlier in the show, and I'll show this in Blender actually, is I personally don't think this looks very good. Like that. Okay, this sort of really choppy. Like in this sequence, the way Ninja 1 moves, it's basically a deformation with the Blender grease pencil is what it is. It's just I just deformed it to make it look like his head was turning a little bit. That sort of stuff looks fine, but this really choppy stuff, it's like I know I'm going to want to go in and change that later. So, let's just watch it one more time, and I think we're going to call it a day. I think it looks great. And with that, I will transition back away And the next shot, will it be Opentoonz? Will it be Blender? Will it be Krita? We don't know. We're making this up as we go along. It's very exciting. But there